Hello to all my friends out there. So I want to talk to you a little bit while I'm eating my dinner. Okay, I was eating my chicken and I took the skin off. I don't eat that generally. Sometimes I ate it when I did the mukbangs, joking around, but generally I don't eat the skin. So, the last video, uh, this is kind of gross. This even still has the quills on the skin. No, I don't think I want to eat that. Never. I mean, I could, but unless I was starving. So one of the ways disease is spread around. I'll show you the quails. Look at that. You don't want to eat that. So anyway, one of the reasons disease spreads is because of unsanitary conditions. Okay, I worked in salons, hair salons, and I saw stuff that would curl your hair. I mean, people are generally pretty unsanitary. So one of the ways that you can protect yourself is to pretty much prepare your own food. Like before I cooked this chicken, I rinsed it in salt water. I always heard in chicken you shouldn't eat the black veins. I forget why that is. My friend told me that. So if I see any black veins, I wouldn't say this one's black, but it is a vein, so, I probably won't eat it. So anyway, sanitary conditions. So how can you make sure your dwelling is sanitary? Well, I think the best thing is bleach. 1 part bleach, 9 parts water will sanitize most all. I was an EMT, and like all kinds of horrific stuff might happen in an ambulance, and that was what they would sanitize it. Sometimes it would actually have to pull it in and hose the whole thing down. It's not good. So, if you have bleach at all times and you keep your, you take your trash out. A lot of, I worked in salons that had an aversion for removing the trash, and it was full of chemicals like nail polish removers. Doctors wouldn't go into those salons. And there's a lot of dangerous chemicals. One thing you can do is keep all the chemicals as far away from your living area, like in a garage, as possible. And, make sure your food is fresh. One thing you can do is keep your refrigerator really, really cold. Refrigerator does not halt microbial growth. It only slows it. So you want to, keep your stuff as cold as you possibly can, Even the freezer doesn't 100% slow. You don't want to be keeping stuff in there forever. It's possible the meat might go up. That's what it seems to be indicating. So I would say, meat and eggs and cheese in your refrigerator. Have the stuff. You don't want to run out of vegetables and fruit. And try to get the highest quality of produce you can. Maybe pay a tiny bit more. I'm not the best housekeeper, but I'm pretty careful not to spread. I used to tell my son, don't disturb the dust. Dust harbors microbes. And I live by a freeway, and there's all kinds of soot as well. And also, if you go into your grocery store and the meat department smells vile, you don't want to really buy your meat there, because not only that, inhaling that stuff is really bad. So you want to also shop in places that are clean and avoid all kinds of filthiness. When I go into a thrift store, I'm very careful, and I'm telling you the truth, by the time I get out of there, I'm really, really filthy. That's why I usually just go to like one per day. And one of the greatest things I ever learned to do is how to dry clean my own clothes. I get those dry cleaning bags from Walmart. Let's see if I can show you. This one. And like I can put 5 or 6 things in there at once and dry clean things. And then I want to make another mention about insects. Okay, now look at this. I don't know if you can see that, but I caught 2 mosquitoes. No, 3 mosquitoes. Okay, now why I'm getting mosquitoes under my sink, you know, and the doors are closed because that's where I have all my chemicals. But mosquitoes are very dangerous. So these bug traps really help. I mean, like I cannot have bugs in here. I'm trying to find my. What I do is I buy an assortment. I have these under my sink at all times. And then these are my favorite. I have them under the stove. I have them by the sides of the refrigerator. I used to get those little poison baits and I can't find them. Also I use, so what you want to do is you want to do everything you can to prevent insects. That's another thing. You don't know if these places that you're going, if the food is fresh, if the people wash their hands, if they, how do you know if they wash their chicken in salt? You know, and I think I'm going to probably start just grinding my own meat. I had that recipe for a turkey burger and it said just grind turkey thighs. Now's a good time, or breasts, or ground your own beef. So as I come up, so mainly is you want to keep yourself clean, and you want to keep your food uncontaminated, and you want to avoid toxins. Well, it's environmental hazards, toxins, virus and bacteria. Some of it is airborne. Be careful if you attend these churches that harbor, you know, that bring people from other parts of the country. That's a good way to pick up something. The missionaries, that the churches that send their missionaries over to these countries can and have picked up stuff and have brought it home. And then, you know, also, you know, you have to be very careful with your pets and your animals because they can pick up things too. But the main issue that I see now is the meat. So I'm going to be packing my freezer. I'm going to be stockpiling everything I can. And then I'll show you as I buy it, and I'm going to be packing my freezer full of meat. One of the women I follow, Sid Off the Grid, and her mom, hi Sid, hi Sid's mom, they're carnivores, and they pack their freezer full of meat, and they get a lot of their meat at Costco. So I'm thinking about joining, I have a Costco by my house. I'm thinking about joining Costco and maybe just loading up that way. And I recently kind of switched over to the grass-fed beef. I found a good deal, $5 a pound at Grocery Outlet. And I can get good turkey burger, 3/4 of a pound at 99¢ only. And I got the chicken at Vons. And, you know, just watch what I'm doing. And so be thinking now what I'm going to be preparing for 2020. It's 2 months away. That's when they're saying we might be affected by these spikes in meat prices. The beef will go up because China is buying beef because the people don't have pork. All they have is dog and rabbit and beef, which is more expensive. And you really don't want to greatly reduce your meat. I found a lot of the packages of tuna and salmon. I cannot eat the stuff. I think it's disgusting. So you have to be careful what you buy too, and don't eat it if it tastes like chemicals. So I'm going to be going over some of this stuff and get some cheap meals like this. Chicken and rice is really cheap. I mean, there's a zillion ways to make chicken and rice. One of the followers said, no, it was a lady I met. Beans, well, I would assume that meant like pinto beans or dry beans, rice, and chicken. And you won't go hungry. I'd say that was pretty good advice. Okay, you guys, God bless you all.